Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Out of the Park 23 as the Minnesota Twins. And the first couple months of the year have not been super great to us. We're kind of on a cold streak right now. We were doing well. We're probably 4 or 5 games ahead of everybody in the division. But we've kind of been on a slump. Pitching's been not as good as it has been in years past. That's about what we were last year. The home runs are way down this year. Jose Miranda's trying his best to carry the offense along with Byron Buxton, but Correa's been meh. Gallo's kind of been about Gallo. Kirillov's been awful. Miranda's been awful. Royce is picking it up of late, but he was really struggling the first month and a half of the year. We've had both Frelick and Gallo both went down with injuries for a little bit of time. Rodriguez, I think, yeah, he played 2 games. Was kind of fine. Baez was the guy that we let get a little bit more run in the majors, and he was honestly pretty good for us. He was up for about a month, was 118 OPS plus, hit 6 home runs in 27 games. So, I mean, you're looking at that point, roughly a 30 to 35 home run pace. So that's really nice to see. This seems to be pretty legit. So yeah, I mean, that definitely makes me feel better about letting Gallo go in the offseason. I think that's definitely what's going to happen here. And honestly, I'm not really even 100% sure what I'm going to want to do with Frelick, because he has been generally pretty good, but he hasn't had kind of that elite season that makes me want to keep him even at this kind of 7 million number. Like, that's starting to really get up there. When I do have Rodriguez available, Atrian is starting to come through the system. He's going to have to go on the 40 man next year, because obviously you can't let a guy like this be unprotected. The 70 potential seems to still be real. So that's exciting to see. On the pitching side of things, been interesting. So Jose Alvarez has been super, super good. He got blown up by Colorado, but if you take this start out, I mean, he's got an ERA of like 1. So yeah, this is very worth it. $3 million again, sure, totally fine with that. The FIP says he's been a little bit lucky. The BABIP is pretty low. Obviously, he doesn't strike a lot of guys out, so his FIP's always going to be high. So that'll just kind of be something to remember with regards to that. But I mean, he seems so far so good. Aaron Nola's just been awful, where the ERA is down like slightly from being a reliever. But I mean, you could see even here in these 3 relief outings, he's given up a run in 2 of 3, and the one that he didn't was literally a third of an inning. He faced 1 batter, so that's concerning about what we're gonna end up doing with him. Marquez hasn't been outstanding. I mean, really, it's been the 2 youngest members of our rotation have been our 2 best pitchers. Gomez is sitting at the ERA of 3, FIP at 2.84. Says that's pretty legit. So that's exciting to see him kind of start to put it together again. And he's extended, so his costs aren't gonna skyrocket, even if he does turn out to be a stud. Like, I think he will be pretty good for this team. Alcantara got off to a good start, but he's gotten lit up over the last month. The ERA was in the pretty low 3s for the first month and a half, but these last 4 starts have all been not great. So obviously, I think the likelihood of us taking this team option is very low, which means we'll have a couple of spots open in our rotation next year. Austin Love had 2 really good starts. His first 2 outings got roughed up a little bit by Pittsburgh. I don't think he actually gave up a run in the first 2 starts. So we'll sort of see how this goes. I mean, I'm sure he'll get more starts. I'm not sure how many more runs I want to really give him here. I do have a couple of other potential options. Hedrick's been having a really good year at AAA. I do want to give him a shot as well in the majors, because I mean, this is really good. Or if he is actually starting to put some stuff together. He wasn't super good in spring training, but I think it's worth the shot there at least. Rocker's kind of been fine. Klassen's been fine as well, but I mean, this is his first run even at AAA. So I'm fine letting him sit for probably most of the year there. But yeah, pitching's been more of a concern this year than it really has been in the last couple of years. Because Colby White hasn't been great. He's kind of had a couple big blow up outings. One that's might have been the one even right before this, where he gave up 5 runs in a third of an inning. That we lost. When you can see the FIP here is still super good at 2.97. The BABIP is high. He's still good. I still think he's the best kind of regular pitcher in our bullpen because Duran is the unicorn, and he's been having a pretty good year again. Wouldn't be shocked if he ends up with another All-Star game and reliever of the year. So that's sort of where we are. Oh yeah, Nardi's also been a big problem for us, where he's had kind of multiple of these types of blow-up outings where what I want to do with him in the off season's becoming. I mean, there's a lot of questions I have right now in the off season. Yeah, Diaz hasn't been super great either, though. This is more. He's had a couple of really rough outings, but for the most part, he's been pretty good. I remember I went and I looked, and something when he had like 15 or 16 outings, he'd given up runs in like 3 of them. It's just when it's been bad, it's been really bad. So we'll sort of see their lineups. Gutierrez obviously is I mean, it's just Naylor again. As far as the catcher situation, we do have Andrew Yu, our second round pick from 2024, who hit well at high A. Potentially next year, maybe he'll be ready for the majors. We'll sort of see, but I mean, there's definitely that backup catcher role is continuing to be a concern for me. Kirilloff and Aranda are both really struggling, where I'm not super sure what to do there. Kavoko's been kind of fine. Amaya's been fine. And really, you can see it's Miranda, it's Buxton, and Victor Robles has been really good randomly for me. So we'll sort of see what we end up doing there. But I mean, it's like I look at him the same way I looked at Rosario last year, except with him being the right-handed bat, there's actually a little more room to sit Frelick and Gallo against lefties. So we'll sort of see what we end up doing as the year progresses there. But we'll go ahead now and get into the main attraction today, which is going to be the first year player draft. So the draft pool is starting to get crazier and crazier. And I honestly like this. Of a lot of first round picks in the majors are people that are looked at as being super high potential players, that they could turn out to be, if not absolute studs, to be good, very good players. And you know that this 80 is going to come down for everybody. It's very unlikely that you're actually going to have a complete superstar come out of any given draft. But there's some exciting people in here, for sure. I enjoy this. You have 2 people named Jose Morales that are projected in the OSA mock draft to go 2nd and 3rd. This guy is, I mean, they're both obviously really good. They're both 80 potential. I like this guy a lot because he's also the switch hitter, which is nice. And then you have the other Jose Morales, who's an actual, I mean, legit center fielder with that type of range where you maybe don't care quite as much about the bat if the range actually comes true. Let's go ahead and let's get into the draft and let's see where some teams go. Sexsmith at 101 is going to take Ernesto Tapia. I don't hate this pick. I also don't love it because as far as an infielder goes, he's a 55 at third base with high work ethic. That's obviously nice. I mean, he did hit 13 home runs. I mean, this is a guy you can throw in Double A right away, be ready in potentially even 2027 if the development really hits. But it's nice to see that even though he is the college senior, that he has a 30 overall already, where kind of all these tools are all decent at this point in time. Texas is going to go ahead and take the guy they're projected to take, which is the first Jose Morales, and the Giants take the other Jose Morales. 4 is Cesar Montilla. So I don't love the fact that he's a second baseman, really only, because he's not being able to play shortstop, I think, hurts him for sure. Did hit 15 home runs, hit 382. I mean, obviously had a couple of very, very good years in college. But I don't know that that's where I would have gone here. Pick 5's Connor Crisp, his first pitcher off the board. Was obviously just crazy, crazy stuff potentially here, where if he actually does develop, then, I mean, this is a guy, I mean, you can see here 15K per 9, 15K per 9, only 14 there. Where, I mean, this is the guy who's going to strike out a lot of people. I do have my concerns, extreme fly ball, low movement. This is a guy who's going to give up some home runs, I think. Low intelligence, also not great, but he does have high work ethic. And I mean, again, you could put him in AA right now. Probably wouldn't want to put him in AAA quite yet. But, I mean, low walks, that's a really good pitcher. They go Ethan Zamora, the Tigers do at 7. Honestly, I think I would rather, well, outside of the low work ethic, that's actually a pretty big problem. But that aside, I would rather have him than that second baseman who went a couple picks earlier. Yeah, the bat's not as good, but the 60 overall shortstop, I mean, this is a really, really good defensive player. So that just makes the floor super, super high for him. Like, he will play in the majors. 8 goes Chris Savage. Really good bat. I mean, you're absolutely relying on the bat here for sure. Not a great outfield. I'm going to guess the infield ratings are nothing. Yep. So, realistically, I mean, he hit 20 home runs in 46 games. So, really at that point, what more can you really say? Somehow still 14 bases with these. That's odd. Yeah, I mean, this is a really, really good bat. Absolutely. Mexico City goes and grabs Chris Ford. I think this guy's just a much lower tier. I really doubt this is who I would have taken here. Not elite defensively at all. The bat's good, not great. He's a high school player. Yeah, I would not have taken him. Definitely not here. Not with this many like 80s on the board. Not a chance. And then at 9 goes the Yankees with Aiden Mayo. I think I like this pick a lot. Yeah, high intelligence, low loyalty doesn't matter. Potentially 4 good pitches. Ground baller with high movement. This, again, I think is a pretty high floor pick. And the Yankees have been pretty good this year, so I think going with a guy who, kind of like we've seen with some of these other pitchers, you could probably start in AA, be ready pretty soon. I think there's a lot of potential there. And then at pick 10, no comment for the middle name. So, you know, this is, I think, the third baseman I would have taken over the other one that went a couple picks ago. High work ethic. The bat is much higher upside, I think, than the other bat the bat on the other guy. So, yeah, that's where I think I would have gone. Let's go ahead now, see who's available for me at, I believe it's pick 32. Okay. So I was hoping that that guy was the first one, the Jesus Aparicio, somebody that was mocked to me. Where did he end up going? Aparicio went at 24 to Seattle. Okay, so got this guy as a first base. But I mean, this is just purely betting on a massive bat. The demand's not super high, but I don't think I love that pick. So we've got a couple of high school pitchers now. Juan Ruiz is a bullpen arm, so no thank you. Villarreal. It is interesting, for sure. It's not super great defensively, where it's only a league average shortstop. I mean, maybe I don't love it. Hector Bolton. This pitch mix I don't love because there's no like off speed stuff here. So I really have questions about how this would actually play. I mean, I don't know how much that would affect actually in out of the park, but I know in real life this would be problematic for sure. It's fun because this is the high school that Royce Lewis came from, so that could be a fun little thing, but I don't love it. This is a very interesting bat. And just another high school bat with the 80 contact potential. Yeah, hit 515 in high school. High intelligence. Okay defensively, not great. Maybe? Let's see. 65 range. Okay, this is a legit center fielder. With really not a bad profile at all, hitting-wise. I really like this guy. Cameron Smith is high work ethic. Nothing defensively. You're entirely reliant on the bat. It's a college junior. I even start him in A-ball, like maybe. But I mean, the fact that he's a couple years older than some of these other guys is a little rough. Tyler Ayers. Decent shortstop already. 75 gap power right now. Crazy. I think I saw... Oh, wow. This guy should be a, like, really good center fielder. Defensive ratings. Yeah, 55 center fielder. So, really, if I'm comparing him to this guy, Nelson Mejia... Let's take a look at the batting ratings here. So, Ayers is 21 right now. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, as obviously there's the 3 more years, but he actually has some of that development to the point where, I mean, 70 contact, 80 gap power. I don't love the low I here. Could maybe do a little bit of space stealing. Defensive ratings are... So, I mean, the plus side to a guy like Tyler Ayers is that you could play him literally anywhere on the diamond. Like, I mean, this could be my Royce Lewis replacement, effectively, here. Where... You could play him in center. He's not as good at shortstop as Royce. He's not as good in the infield, but he's probably better in the outfield. But the other thing, though, is that I think just having just the guy who just is the center fielder, I'm surprised, though, that he shows up as higher rating in center field, because at same range he has... Whereas Ayers has higher air and higher arm. So that's odd to me. The bat, let's see, so Ayers has higher contact, higher gap power. Home run is basically the same. I is slight edge to Mejia. Void K's is an edge to Mejia. That's interesting. I'm not really confident in what I would want to do there. We need to get back to the draft, please. Okay. So that was Tyler Ayers. Cologne is a pretty kind of neutral bat. So I mean, it looks... I think he also had... Yeah, I mean, this is also pretty good outfield range. Where he would probably be a pretty good center fielder as well. But he's less developed right now than Ayers is. So I think I would lean Ayers over him. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Good potential bat. Can't play center field though. Palacio. I mean, this is an interesting guy, honestly. Like, I think that really the choice here has to be between Ayers and Mejia. Oh, Ayers only wants 80,000. What is my? Let's see. What's my scouting director recommend? Villarreal. No, not you. I mean, like, I don't hate this. 50 shortstop versus, what were you? You're also a 50 shortstop. So that's kind of split there. But I think that I mean, this is an interesting choice. Let me look at the mock here. So they have, so Tyler Ayers is way up here. He definitely dropped. I mean, Villarreal was also top 20 guy projected. That's center fielder. Where is he? This is the guy that went super early, right? Mario, or no, he's still here. So Mejia, they're projecting round 2. So this is something to think about here, is that I do have kind of 2 more picks that are coming up pretty soon. So I could gamble that Mejia will drop because he's the lowest ranked of all of these guys that I'm kind of looking at right now. No, this was a guy that I thought was interesting too that I think is still on the board. So that is, yeah, I mean, this is another piece to think about. This is a really good pitcher. I mean, the pitch mix is the thing that I do have my questions about. I don't know how this would play in Out of the Park, if this is something that I should be concerned about or not. I think I'm leaning this way. I think I'm leaning Ayers here to see if Mejia or Belton will fall to me. Because I like the utility of Ayers being able to play anywhere. I can put him at AA right now. I don't know if I want to do that or not. But I'd probably either high A or AA for Ayers right away. And then we see who falls. I think we're going to go ahead and do this and see what we get. Mejia and Belton are still here. All right. So looking at this again, where was, yeah, so Mejia was here. Belton was projected to me at specifically this spot. I mean, obviously this bat's super fun too, but I don't. Because it's not like he wants a ton of money or anything, so he's not gonna fall. But I'm less interested in that than I am Bolton and Mejia. I'm a little surprised that this is a 60 in center field, if I'm being entirely honest. Money is something I do not care about here. Got some of these other players. I mean, you're definitely interesting to me as well, that Jorge Palacio guy. Alpha Turner has an amazing name. Super high control, high work ethic. He only walked 19 guys in 103 innings last year. And his name is Alpha. And that's pretty cool. So what do you recommend? You recommend the massive bat, which I don't blame him for. I don't hate that decision at all. And even this guy, I mean, here though, you're really looking. Problem is Cameron Smith is a DH, so that's probably out. So let's Mejia Belt. I haven't had great luck with rookie pitchers, with high school pitchers so far. I mean, Huisman's starting to pick it up a little bit, but I think because I think I'm gonna go Belton here. I think I've been saying Bolton, but it's Belton. Oh wait, bonus demand 5.5. Why does this say slot then? I'm curious what he like. I don't care about money here. I've got, or I guess I should make sure that I don't care about money. Like I don't think I do. Okay, yeah, total money available 28 million. Yeah, it's totally fine. Yeah, I think we are going to go ahead and grab Hector Belton here. And then, because I don't think it's super long. How many picks are there? There are 3 picks between us. If we can come out of here with all 3 of our guys, that would be awesome. If not, I will have to. Let's see what happens. Okay, we get all 3 of our guys. That's kind of the whole from fantasy football looking at ADP situation here, pretty much. Of we go and we look and see who was the most likely to fall to us, and we went that way. All right. Now going into round 2. Oh wow. Now here's a shortstop. No bat, but man, this guy is a shortstop. What some of these other pitchers though? Okay, you're low intelligence, no thanks. You're a bullpen guy. And Bass. And this changeup needs to just go, and then to be a 3-pitch pitcher. Walks, I mean, it's nice to see that they are super low. Let's see. There's just any. Okay, so I mean, this is another guy where I mean, this is a corner outfielder for sure, but I mean, this is a very intriguing bat. I'm not gonna lie. And but then the downside to drafting this guy is then I have to try to learn how to pronounce his name. Just figure that last because I think the first name would be Milovan. Kuxinjak? I don't know. But so obviously that's the downside to drafting is I have to kind of learn that. What this guy? Is kind of intriguing. Don't care about the personality class, but it's nice to see this discipline and home run power, but I don't think we're gonna go this route at all. How about you? Are you actually a catcher? And kind of, but there's 0 bat. Yeah, also a problem there. Alright, let's just kind of go back to looking at this. So, as far as some of our options, Jalen Bass is interesting here. The control is nice to see, where he only walked, let's say 1.4 per 9, 1.3 per 9 in high school. The strikeouts in high school I don't really pay attention to because somebody who's going to be an early round pick in the major leagues really should be striking out that many guys. Let's see here. So we've got kind of a couple of decent fielders, and this is another pretty good, I mean, above average shortstop potentially with, or just a solid bat. Versus, I mean, these 2 guys are kind of an interesting comparison, I think. Her last name is Llamas. That's excellent. This is another pretty intriguing piece. Let's see. So if I go pitcher here, all right, you're low intelligence, which I don't like. The stuff isn't there really. And neither of these guys have great stuff. Can you play in the infield at all? No, not. I mean, this is just a fun bat profile, I think. I mean, 70 contact, 75 avoid Ks potentially. I mean, again, he is just a full-on corner outfielder. You have low work ethic, so that's a no. Both of these two guys, Alejandro and Cisneros, are both intriguing. I kind of want to do a comparison on the two shortstops. Cisneros and... Okay. So, as far as the bat goes... Okay, so Cisneros is just definitely the better hitter. But obviously this is crazy defensively. Where, yeah, I mean, you could see first base is the lowest infield rating. I mean, that doesn't happen super often. Nothing below a 60 defensively for Alejandro. So the question then is just, does that make up for the lack of bat? And I feel like the answer to that is probably that it does. Which means that then the choice is probably between him. See, I forget. Yeah, I don't think I really trust that bat. Wow, you're just a full-on reliever right now. I mean, yeah. Honestly, an interesting reliever. So is Ruiz. Where, I mean, this is obviously is a reliever. But I'll have to think about at what point does this start becoming a person I should look at. So, as far as pitchers, yeah, because you're also just a reliever, because that's only 2 pitches. The 40 changeup isn't good enough. So, 50, 50, 60. You have more pitches. I mean, well, the downside here is the low intelligence, for sure. Aguilar is like pretty much a full year younger. 1.5 walks. So he walk less people. Fastball, sinker, cutter, splitter, pretty much. I mean, you have that potentially super elite curveball that you're reliant on. So I think what we're going to do here is the highest upside pick is probably you. I think. I mean, 75 stamina is really nice. Because then you could throw. I mean, let's see. So if you look at this is looking at. I mean, I think this is like on average. This is 8 innings per start that he's throwing right now. Just pretty crazy. Or do I go... I mean, because the other thing to think about here is I've kind of taken 2... What have I taken so far? Is with my first picks, we took Tyler Ayers. So defense first. Should be a good but not elite bat. And then here we took Hector Belton, the high school pitcher. And then Mejia, who's again sort of the defense first guy. So I don't actually think I think I think I'm just between the two pitchers here. I think not having low intelligence is the tiebreaker to go Jalen Bass. And let's see who's still here. Okay, so that guy did finally go off the board. The super high end quote unquote starter is actually reliever though. Okay, so let's see. You have 65 outfield range, but okay. Highest overall still remaining. Low work ethic, no. High work ethic. Yeah, nothing super interesting there. Let's see. Yeah, because this is. Well, you're 30-50. I mean, this is a decent enough catcher, I think, potentially, where if the bat does develop, I mean, this is should be a pretty good defensive catcher. I actually do like that pick potentially quite a bit. You want me to go Darius Sutton? A reliever, no thank you. Okay, so Malcolm Moore is very interesting. You have, let's see. There's nobody that's like super high. You have way less arm. Profile is maybe a little bit better as far as hitting goes than the other guy I was looking at. It's Malcolm Moore. Guess we should do compare you to you. Okay, so let's see. So Gonzalez has higher contact. Malcolm has higher gap by a lot, home run and I by a little bit. Gonzalez has way better avoid Ks. Moore has the advantage of being more developed. Whereas defensive rating goes, it's just better arm is kind of the gap between the two. They have the same ability. Oh, he's from Stillwater. That's fun. I think that he is a Minnesota kid. Okay. So this is the highest like potential person, right? Because he's a reliever. This is a interesting bat for sure. Low work ethic, high schooler, no thank you. This is interesting. Probably a third baseman, not a shortstop. It's interesting, I think. Super high gap power. This is always weird to me, though. I mean, I would imagine that the outfield range is kind of more than about the how good of a jump can you get type of thing, and this is just kind of that full on once you're on the base paths. He could be really good. Switch hitter. I mean, that's definitely not terrible there. I don't hate grabbing the catcher. I think taking shots on catchers is always a good thing because you just always need them. But this is interesting to me for sure. Even though he's not a great outfielder, he should be fine. He's 6'5". Wow, string bean right here. He needs to put on some weight. So I guess really what we're kind of looking at here is this guy as a third baseman. And kind of the 5 green tools is really nice. I don't love that this big tool is gap power. But I mean, even if then, I mean, like contact, home run, power, avoid K are all pretty similar to him, right? So you have the edge and so Glass has the advantage in contact, gap power, tied in home run power, tied in Ks. So it's the only tool that Shivaran has on Galaz is discipline. And high work ethic, but high intelligence. Though I mean, work ethic's probably slightly better. So what do we do there? And there's this guy as well. Kind of. I think really this pick is between these two guys, between Shivaran and Galaz. Let's see. I haven't drafted any corners, so I think that's kind of tie breaks me here. And then let's see. Did not make it back to me, but Malcolm Moore does. I'm just gonna grab him at this point. Oh, whoops, that was not the button to click. Draft the player. Let's see if there's anything interesting to kind of look at here. Right, you're the reliever. Let's see if there are any pitchers that are secretly hitters. Doesn't look like. I mean, this guy, Marcus Leclerc, looks like a decent enough hitter. And this is kind of average all across the board. It's not anything super intriguing. I don't think, no. So then I think really at this point I think we're gonna go ahead and call the episode here. I will go and finish out the draft on my own, unless one of these guys is super interesting. I mean, this is a really good defensive player. Another good defensive player with 0 bat. It's in your high, but no movement. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything gonna be, yeah, super interesting at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the episode here, and I'll finish the draft on my own time. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.